What type of fighter are you? Welcome to another episode of Anxious Black Belt podcast that focuses on karate, mental health and everything in between. Again, we've got the school kids break, Easter break, so too loud at home. I'm gonna be recording in the garden, so we've got nice birds, my bonsai trees behind me, and I hope that microphone gonna pick it up quite nicely. Me talking about what kind of fighter you are. So there is a lot of sparrings in the different clubs, but what I'm coming across is people usually take the fighters and go fight, attack, do this, do that, but there is no kind of insight into what your fighters are, and there is few different types of behaviors during the sparrings and preferences during the sparrings. And recently I've been doing a series of seminars and workshop about how to find your inner fighter and what you prefer to do, and this is in a sporting area, but also knowing what type of fighter you are in a sport helps you to focus on things in a self-defense. For example, I am a defender. I like to fight from a counter fighter, so I like to be in the defensive positions and then wait for a opportunity for me to attack back. So I know that for a self-protection situation it is difficult for me to just have that snap and go, so I need to work on that, that something's happening. I'm not waiting for a attack to come towards me and then I counter. I need to be that proactive. So having that knowledge, it gives you an idea of what to work on. But going back to a sporting situation, like I said, we're doing the workshops and seminars on finding the type of a fighter you are. So you've got the attackers and defenders and counter punchers or counter kickers, plus something in the middle that people feeling well optimized somewhere between. They sometimes like to attack, sometimes like to defend. For myself, I like to be a counter, so I'm waiting for the moves of the person who I spar with and trying to figure out my game, allowing myself to find their weaknesses and take them. And I like to be under pressure and attack, and that's both on the stand-up, throws, grappling and ground, which is not the best option for me because I'm very small. So on the ground it is something that I am trying to avoid, to fighting from the bottom, because I'm so light that just people overwhelm me with the weight, especially if they're much heavier. So you need to, although that you are aware of what type of fighter you are, you need to have the game specified into your conditions, your abilities. So I know that I have to maybe counter from the top or get to the top and attack people from the top. Again, if I'm fighting with much taller opponent, me attacking them is a somewhat good option. I like to go between the punches and try to find the gaps, because usually I'm a little bit faster, so I can fit in and get into the counters, move around, use the angles and so on. But this is kind of my nature. I've always been like that. I don't feel comfortable attacking going forwards. I like to wait and just get my opportunities to deliver some shots, kicks and takedowns. But there are different people, right? So you're gonna have people who are very comfortable with attack, and that's what they flourish, but when they're on the back foot it's very uncomfortable for them. So when you've got a fighter who is in a kind of attacking mode and that's what he prefers, you're gonna be designing the training methods for him to utilize that offensive qualities, and then sending to in a sparring and getting them to be all the time defensive is going to be counterproductive to them. They should know some defenses, that's obvious, but if you specify within the sparring, work on this, be better in attacking, then they can evolve their game, plus with addition of a defenses, but you want them to excel within their abilities, the best abilities that they working with, and they want to progress in that area the most, so they can use as much of that natural aspect of their fighting qualities as they can, so they're going to be better. And there are some people that operate between both and they are good in both. That's kind of very rare specimens where they're achieving very good results in any sparring because they can fluently switch between the different types of the fight. Make gifting easy with Benson and Clegg. Handcrafted cufflinks, luxury accessories, and a proper British style. Trusted since the 1930s by royalty. Get 15% off with code Karate15, exclusively for Anxious Black Belt podcast listeners. Shop now at bensonandclegg.com. Now, another qualification or classification is that it depends what fighter you are. Are you a striker kicker, so you like to be on your feet striking? Are you a grappler that you like to clinch, or maybe you feel the most comfortable on the floor? And we see that on the spectrum of different martial arts. There are different people and different martial arts evolve into different aspects. You've got the boxing, people like striking with the hands. You've got kickboxing or karate, when we're kicking and striking. Then you've got the wrestling, when people just grab. Then you've got the BJJ, where people are just on the floor. And now we've got the MMA, where everything is combined. But still, within the MMA, you see people have preferences. Some people want to take it to the ground. That's their strong point. So you're gonna focus on those aspects and areas. And in our seminars, we trying to find that through different exercises and different forms of the sparring. So we're starting with a hands-only sparring, where you can see if you are more kind of offensive or more defensive fighter. Then we're going to do unilateral, so different objectives for different people. One is grabbing, the other one is punching, and we try to establish what is more likely for you to do. Are you feel more comfortable in a clinch, where you're controlling the person and then you're throwing a few punches, or are you prefer to punch, keep your distance? So you prefer to be close, or you prefer to be far away? Do you like throws, or you prefer to set up something for high kicks or low kicks and so on? So through series of challenges and tasks, we can figure it out what is your setup. So we're doing a lot of sparring on that, because this is the only way to learn which type of sparring works for you through sparring. We can do as many drills as we want to, but all those qualities coming out under the pressure when you actually step in there and practice and see which part is comfortable. But if your coach just throws you into sparring, says this is 4 minutes of sparring, go and spar, and then you don't have any guidance onto what you like, what you prefer, what your coach seeing from the side, what you excel at, people get lost and everybody fights the same. And I see that a lot of in karate, where people just been told, go and fight, use the techniques you know, find some combinations that work for you, and so on. You need to have a process to practice with the people and see what they gonna be flourishing with. Is it a grappling? Is it a close quarter that you can get in close? Maybe some hooks. Maybe maybe really good with a waving and bobbing. You're gonna relax and stay away and just counter wherever you can. Maybe you're gonna be going full on and just dominate the partner. You need to know how to do that, how to put the pressure on your opponent, how to keep them under pressure. If you're a defensive or counter defensive, how are you gonna move? How are you gonna get the angles to get that counter back? So you cannot just stand there and cover yourself and hope for the best. It needs to be a plan for those. If you're gonna get down on the floor, how are you going to be fighting on the floor? Do you want to get up? Do you want to submit on the floor? Do you want to control the person till they tap out? It's all have to be encompassed into your training program. Also, we're talking about sport. What equipment you're going to use? Is it going to be a big gloves where you can hide and you are not able to throw? Then you might be neck clinch and doing these counters when you can hide yourself behind the big gloves. Are you gonna be just kicking and punching with the small gloves, like now it's popular Muay Thai with the small gloves, and you can see how much that's changed the game. People who've been used to the big gloves in Muay Thai, now with the little gloves doing much worse because there's no way you can hide behind those big pillows. So you have to change and adapt your training program to the situation that you're going to encounter, the equipment you're going to use, and the rules that you're going to have, because the rule set dictates how you're going to fight and how you're going to operate within the rule set. Can I throw? If you cannot throw, there's no point for you to focusing on the throws. Can we throw and be on the ground for only 10 seconds? This is going to be have to be encompassed in your training, and you need to have a habit so you don't waste time on the floor trying to set up some long chain that's going to take you over that 10 seconds. Are you free on the floor? Are you using gi? Are you using no gi? Do you have MMA gloves? Do you have no gloves? Do you do a knockdown, or is it a full contact? Is it a light contact? Can you do high throws? Can you do no high throws? Everything goes into a thinking about your unique program for your fighter, and everybody is different, and you have to find the time to fit your student with the best attributes they can have. So there's no point just saying to group of tall fighters and short fighters, just go and fight, right? The tall people have to utilize the range, the little people have to utilize the angles, the speed, the dropping in, dropping out, for example, and they're gonna be fighting different. Also, they're gonna be fighting with different people. You're not always gonna have a tall person fighting with a little person and little person fighting with a tall person, because you've got a structure in tournaments where there are weight categories, age categories, maybe experience categories, like we've been recently in a competition and there was a experience category when you had the masters and you had the beginners, so you have to adjust that to your fighters. And also you need to think about the safety, right? You're not going to put somebody who is a beginner into advanced class, because he's going to be outclassed and going to lose, and it might be burnt and not want to go into competition ever again. People who early on have a huge disappointment, or was a big disparity between the fighters, are easily put off from competing, and they will not want to get engaged in that activity, and he might lose the student, or they're gonna lose the opportunity to experience the more competition winning and how the win feels. So it is, if you're running a club and you've got your fighters, be mindful of their needs, spend some time observing them, giving them cues, because people sometimes don't see, if they don't have a guidance, they just do what everybody else does. But you need to have that unique approach towards your student, where you can make a unique individual training plan for them. After the basics, you move on from the basics, you start to tailor it to their needs, their behaviors, their preferences, and in that way you are achieving a more complete fighter who can enjoy his sparring because he does something that he feels good at, instead of having a fighter who have to go and do random stuff, random combinations, random techniques under pressure, because that falls apart. We fall down under pressure, and only 10 to 15% of your techniques work, but there's a bigger chance to perform those techniques that you enjoy doing and that you like doing. And I know that on myself, that before I started to apply the program with my coach, it was kind of at random. I tried different things, not necessarily things that worked for me. I've been copying my successful training partners, and I'm only 170 and my friend was 185, he's 82 kilos, I was 58 at the time, and I cannot do stuff that he does. But because there was no structure in training, nobody looked at me and tailored the fights to me, I've been losing a lot of competitions till we figure it out and learn from other people, other coaches, that actually tailoring stuff towards my needs and my behaviors and my preferences gave a better outcomes. I start winning the competition and so on. Nothing major, not the world championships and stuff like that. But who knows? If I had that coaching on the beginning, maybe I would do better. And you know, now even in BJJ with the coach now, there's a specific keys towards my size, my preferences that I'm working with, instead of just doing a generic, oh, go and fight. I've got my plans to what I do, what I want to focus, some things that work for me, the movements that work for me. So it is very important to have some kind of a plan for stuff that you enjoy and where you feel the most comfortable and when you're most effective. So I hope you enjoyed this one. What fighter are you? Write down in a comment. At Karate for Mental Health CIC, the mission is simple but powerful. To use the discipline, confidence and community of karate to support people living with disabilities, mental health challenges and those from disadvantaged backgrounds. For your support, Karate for Mental Health provides free karate training, helping individuals grow stronger, physically, mentally and emotionally. Karate for Mental Health now offers workshops, courses and exclusive merchandise, and every purchase directly funds these life-changing projects. Join the mission, make an impact. Enjoy 15% of your purchases with the code AAB15. Whether you are passionate about mental health, martial arts or simply want to make a difference, your support helps building people up. One kick, one class, one moment at a time. Visit Karate for Mental Health CIC, CEO UK, gear up, get involved and help change lives.